Hey everyone, Grant here. Welcome back to the channel. The latest video is going to be all about Etsy, but in particular, I'm going to be looking at promoted listings. I've had a lot of contact from people saying about they've put money into promoted listings, haven't really gained any traction, haven't gained any additional sales. So I want to cover off my thoughts, tips and tricks around promoted listings. But as always, before we begin, please hit the subscribe button, bell notification icon, like the video and leave your comments down below, and I am replying to as many as I can. But that's enough waffle from me. Let's get on with this video. So when we look at promoted listings for Etsy, what exactly is a promoted listing? It's almost like a Google ad. So you are paying for your advert or your listing to be promoted above others. So if you go to etsy.com, do a search, you'll notice the first 4 or 5 at the top are promoted listings, and sellers are paying for that privilege, for want of a better word. Now, before we do that, there's just a bit of a common sense approach to this, and a lot of people may comment that, I already know this, Grant, why are you telling me this? But you'll be surprised how many Etsy sellers I work with that just sort of don't think about the core basics, and that is around seasonality. So there is no point trying to sell a barbecue to people in the winter when it's snowing. There's no point trying to sell woolly hats, scarves and gloves in the summer when it's sunny. So just bear that in mind and how you relate that back to your products. So for me, it's greeting card business, offensive cards, gifts, pens and badges. Although the actual specific product doesn't have any seasonality, I do see peaks and troughs in sales. And that's because of the type of card or gift that I'm listing. So around Valentine's Day, 14th of February, around the first, second week in January, I saw the sales starting to ramp up, going up and up and up and up, and really hit a peak around the first week in February. And actually until about a week after Valentine's Day, believe it or not, for those people that forgot to purchase or were slightly late. And then it dies down again. So that also works for other seasonalities and other events, calendars, or events within the year. So my first tip would be to look at creating an events or seasonality calendar for yourself. So look at seasons, autumn, spring, summer and winter. Which of those products would sell well within those certain seasons? Within that, if you do a quick Google search for international or national, I'm based in the UK, but there are USA specific holidays and different holidays all around the world. But if you look at those and then drop the seasonality calendar and overlay that with your events calendar. So, key ones off the top of my head for my business would be Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Weddings are a great time that people do kind of forget about. So that starts around June all the way to the end of August, beginning of September. So quite a lengthy period. And then obviously you've got Christmas. For people in America, you've got Thanksgiving. So key important times, and make sure that you're ramped up for that occasion. This isn't specifically about promoted listings, but it's something that you need to bear in mind before you go and starting spending money on promoted listings. My second tip is around analytics and what's what's selling and what's not selling. And people probably shoot me down for this, but the general rule of thumb is if you can't sell it or you can't get any traction under your current listings, i.e. not spending any advertising, the chances are promoting it will have no or little difference. Now, that's not categorically for every single product, every single industry and every single niche. But for me, I found that's a really good rule of thumb to work by. And I don't mean sales. So go onto your seller dashboard within Etsy, look at the analytics and see if you're getting views to that particular product or category. So if I find that I've got, for example, 13 different wedding cards and none of them or hardly any of them are getting very little views, I'm talking couple here, couple there a month, there is no point spending money on promoting those listings. They're not being found. May not even be wanted in your particular niche, either in your niche or in your local market, UK, USA. And what I would certainly do in that environment or in that circumstance would be looking at my actual listing images, tags, description and titles. Could I enhance and optimize those to bring up the listing? Then I would look at getting it promoted. If, however, you go onto your analytics and your seller dashboard and you're finding you are getting some traction, so you are getting some views but they're not converting, then certainly promoted listings could be a way to go. So that's my second tip. Always look at analytics and don't try to sell something to someone when they don't want it. My third tip is about promoted versus free listings, or free promotion, should I say, not listings. So whilst we do have promoted listings, for me, they should always be the last resort, because you are dipping into your pocket, you're using your profit, you may be using savings or money that you actually haven't got to try and edge and get those certain sales when they may not come to fruition. So for me, what I would do is look at the free opportunities. And those opportunities, as I've mentioned in tip 2, are optimizing your listing, images, title, tags, description. That's really the first key point. So look at that. And I have done a video all about optimizing your listings. I would also look at what the other free opportunities you have. So within your Etsy store, you do have the opportunity to issue discount codes and promote those. So that's another key point about issuing promotion codes or discounts, which you can then change your shop description to publicize. So that's really a free thing that you can do. You can do it instantly to see if it gains you any more traction or any more sales. Also as well, I would also look at the pricing of your product. For me, again, this is a completely free thing to do. So play around with the pricing of your product by dropping it a few pence. There are tons and tons of statistics, surveys out there that if you round down rather than up, you will get more sales. And that's proven year on year on year from stats. So rather than selling something at £10, try £9.99. Rather than selling it at £2.50, try £2.49. If you're feeling brave, try £2.25. Does that give you some more traction? Also as well, look around at the postage. I personally don't like the EasyJet or the low cost mentality where you buy something and you add on and you add on and you add on till finally your £2 product is £100. So play around with maybe increasing your product price but including free delivery, and that can gain you some more traction. Again, this is looking at other ways you can get some instant traction for free without looking at promoted listings just yet. So that covers off some of the free activities that you can do. And by no means I'm not saying do not use promoted listings. All I'm saying to you is that it should be the last resort. So you've gone through those free opportunities and now let's look at promoted listings. I will do a separate video on how to use it, utilize it for Etsy beginners. So really I'm just going to cover off some of the things that I think about promoted listings on here today, as I will cover it in a separate video. So once you've got your promoted listings and you turn them on, you assign a daily budget. Now for me, the daily budget I have is about $2, $2.50, so it's not a huge amount. And what I do is I set it live and I give it 3 or 4 days and I review it, and that's very, very important. Under the statistics you've got on promoted listings, you've got from memory spend, views, sales in terms of numbers and revenue. Keep your eye on that. One day in isolation could just be a blip in your statistics. So you could have loads of sales, no sales, ignore it. 3 or 4 days is a good time. You would have only spent potentially $10, so not a huge amount of money, and you'll get an idea of what traction you're getting on in terms of sales and conversions. And just keep an eye on those numbers, really, really important. So as I said, I will cover off a separate video specifically looking at promoted listings, how you can optimize those. But for now, that's all from me. As always, subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon, and comment and like. Thank you very much.